Hi, my name's Matt Locke, and this is the Everyday Athlete Podcast, the podcast for the everyday athletes around the world who refuse to be average and who want to create a legacy of health, fitness, and achievement in every aspect of their life. I'm glad you're here, and once again, it's time to forge your future. Dave Harvey, welcome back to the Everyday Athlete Podcast.
Thanks for having me again, Matt.
No, not at all. So, second time on here, and this time we're going to take a dive into, your competitive background, your competitive nature, but how you bring that into your everyday life and your business, and how it benefits your clients at the end of the day. But for those who didn't listen to the first episode so far, and the details will be in the show notes, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe from your pro footy days onwards.
Yeah, so I guess, grew up playing rugby as a young kid. Was lucky enough to turn pro for about 8 to 10 years, which is great. Spanned across 5 countries, being Australia, 3 countries in Europe and Brazil. Loved my time, and then ever since sort of integrated out of pro rugby into owning my F45 in Castle Hill. So I've had that for the last 6 years now, and loving it.
my bad.
Yeah.
There we go. No, appreciate the background. Actually, I didn't ask you in the first episode. You mentioned amongst the international countries that you competed in, Brazil. For the Grand Slam this year, we're having a definite we're shining a light on Brazil. Let's say we're really trying to get some of the Brazilian CrossFitters and F45 athletes involved in the Grand Slam. What was your experience in Brazil? Because mine has been always a lot of fun, a lot of passion, a lot of energy.
Oh, that's probably, you hit the nail on the head. There's a lot of passion, a lot of energy, mate. I spent a fair bit of time there. I think a holiday for the first time in 2003. Mum's Brazilian, so I've got a Brazilian passport. And then I spent a lot of time over there, played 7s and 15 aside for Brazil. I'm supposed to go to the Olympics, but that's probably a story for another podcast. And then I spent a lot of time.
That.
Yeah. Mate, I loved it over there. Like passion, very, I wouldn't say community, but very passionate behind the badge. So, they sing the anthem, they shed a little tear, and they're very proud of their nation. Mate, I loved it. Beaches, Sao Paulo, where we were pretty much based, a lot of buildings, but food, culture, environments, phenomenal. I think it gets a fair bit of stick in regards to how unsafe it is, but it's, I think it's far from the truth. It's phenomenal place. Probably recommend it to anyone kind of want to go over, and whether it be train, and there's a lot of fit humans over there. Train, or whether it be just go for a holiday and kick back and relax.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing to get a whole bunch of athletes from Brazil involved, and who knows, a few of them may win and end up coming to Australia on our account and
that'd be cool.
The Bay Games later this year, which would be very cool. Absolutely,
that'd be awesome.
Now, speaking of the Bay Games, that's how our paths first crossed, wasn't it? You were gracious enough and generous enough to come and be a guest athlete at the first live announcement for the Grand Slam last year.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, got a call / email to go across, and I was like, yeah, this sounds great, and we went on in, which was fantastic. In CrossFit Kirui, I think it was.
That's right.
Great little set. It was actually funny because I'm actually I chat to one of the guys who's a trainer out there, Ben, now quite a bit. I think he actually competed on that day. Yeah, so we which is really cool. So I made a couple of friends out of the night, which is fantastic. But yeah, no, that was good fun. I kind of met yourself and the crew, and had no idea what I was in for. And once I figured out what I was in for, it was completely opposite of kind of what I thought of. So it was it was interesting. It's good fun though, really good fun.
I've got to say, I think you were thrown in at the deep end, in fairness.
Yeah, I think so. I think I was. I had the mindset of going in, and I think the first workout was 1 deadlift, 1 burpee, then 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, and increase. I was like, this is great. I can do this. This is what I do. And then they're like, oh no, you and Roy, you're going to do a 3-point power clean and maximum effort. I was like, okay, see.
That's right. Yeah. You wanted to do event 1, not 2.
Yeah. So if I did that now, I'd be much more confident. So those numbers have gone up quite a bit since then. But at the time, it was like, geez.
Oh, it was good fun. It was a big call.
Yeah,
I mean, It was completely, at the end of the day, we released the workout there, and then you had less than 10 minutes to get ready.
Yeah, it was good fun. I enjoyed it. Definitely do it again.
Well, you were certainly a good sport, I have to say, and we appreciated it.
More than welcome.
And of course, last year was our inaugural year, and that was an individuals comp. And by the time this goes out, it'll be announced, of course, that this year onwards will be pairs. All about pairs. And excited to see. I know you're going to get involved.
Yeah,
maybe you'd
definitely.
like to come and do one of the live announcements again. You'd be
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to. I think I've already found my pair. Like as we spoke about in the first podcast, bit of loyalty and bit of community there. So I think we're going to pair up with one of my trainers, who was a client of my studio. So Toddy actually came down to CrossFit Kiwi that day to yell at me and make me lift that bar a little bit better. So I think we're going to pair up. I'm going to pair up with him, and mate, it'd be good to give it a little crack and see how we go. I think he can move pretty well. He's got a good mindset, so I think it'll be a tough one, but it'll be good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've seen the workouts, and they're locked in now, and you'll enjoy them. They're good. They're not designed to be ridiculous. They're great workouts, and certainly I personally love competing as a pair, having a teammate to bounce off, and we've made sure that the workouts, for sure, of course, that they're going to be challenging enough to
definitely
test the athletic capacity of the fittest pair, but they're also fun, and it's all about actually helping to create that connection, camaraderie, community, conversation, even, because certainly we've got the compete for cause angle, where we're aligning ourselves with mental health charities around the world.
Good.
In Australia, it's Are You OK? But a percentage of all regos will go to those charities. So that's why pairs is much more congruent with what we're trying to achieve, actually. But,
I think that's fantastic. I think it's such a good thing, and I think the more we can raise about mental health around the world, obviously in Australia, but around the world, is you get a lot of people on board. Just for that, but obviously for a little bit of the fun factor of the fitness. But the more awareness we can raise through different avenues is it's vital.
That's exactly right. And some of these charities are screaming out for funding. It's their only source of income, actually. So happy to be a part of that. But so some from the Grand Slam last year, of course, that exposed you to the Bay Games as a brand, and you came down to play in Jervis Bay last November. How did that go?
That was good. I guess you kind of knew what we were in for because the workouts were released, which is good. So I wouldn't say I trained for any of it. I just kind of kept up my training regime and what my program was saying. So I kind of worked towards that. But mate, I absolutely loved it. The way it was run, the structure, the format, the spacings between workouts, the way that the Bay Games, you guys really stuck to schedule, so that nearly everything was on point, which I was, blown away by, which is rarely happens in anything.
Appreciate it.
I think it was fantastic. So, I competed in the individual on Saturday. I got down. It's probably a little bit too cold for me to swim on the first event, so I sat out that first event and didn't do the. I think it was the swim run. So and I didn't go in. To be honest, after making that decision, I didn't go into the next 4 events with any expectations. I never paddleboarded before, and then so I went in with no expectations. I think I came out. I think I won my heat in that paddleboard, and then came on to finish 3rd overall in individual. I think we finished 2nd or 3rd in the team event, which was really cool, behind Chocolate Box. So it was really enjoyed my time.
Yeah, you guys gave it a red hot crack, and certainly it's for you to back it up, actually. I mean, you had, as you say, you got onto the podium on the Saturday and then backed it up onto the podium on the Sunday. So that's not a bad weekend all round. We'll have to get you into the pairs on the Saturday night, get you to do the trifecta.
I saw that the other day. Yeah, I was just like, geez, I do individual, then pairs. But, I like that. Like, individually, you're working for 8 to 12 minutes. And, but as you mentioned before, with the pairs Grand Slam coming up, you kind of bounce off each other. And then in a group of 4, it's a 12-minute workout. Technically, you're only working for 3 and a bit minutes, but you're probably working a little bit harder because you don't want to let your mate next to you down. And you kind of get a little bit more out of it, a bit more of a adrenaline rush, a bit more of an energy spurt. And you're going to do the right things after each event because you're going to eat well, you're going to recover well, and just to make sure that you perform well the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the things I appreciate about particularly pairs, but teams, same philosophy, is that there's nowhere to hide. And there's a sense of accountability to
spot on.
And it just holds you accountable. And I find I put in even harder, even more in that environment, which I appreciate.
Definitely.
Even in training, you get more out of the training at the end of the day.
I find that. I do a lot of training on my own. Gets a bit lonely, but I do a lot of training on my own, and sometimes I feel that if I'm training with a mate or someone else, that I tend to lift a little bit heavier, or my numbers tend to go up, or I hit a couple of PBs that I wasn't expecting. It's like, maybe I need to train with more people more often. So
yeah, absolutely. Now, you mentioned you were in the team. So who were you in the team with? Was it people from your F45 gym, or?
Yeah, so a little bit combo. So Toddy Williams was in our team. So Toddy did the individual on Saturday. It was actually his idea. He went down to Bay Games last year.
Yep.
And he was saying he registered for this event. I didn't know much about it. So, we followed his progress really well. I think Ricky Garrard was at last year's. And mate, Toddy was head-to-head with him in one of the events, which is, phenomenal. And so Toddy dragged me down. He actually registered me to go down to Bay Games, which is really cool. So he did well in the individual. He did do the swim, and he did quite well at it. But no, so Toddy's in my team. Toddy was a client of mine. Now he's one of my trainers.
Yep.
Dan Potter was in the team. I met him through Toddy. So he was from the F45 network at the start, but now he kind of works at 98 Riley Street in the city. And then Ethan, Big Ethan, he lives in Adelaide now, but I met him at F45 Manly. So they're all F45 kind of linked together, and that was our team before.
Excellent. No, very good. And so I guess it was a weekend away. So yeah, did you use this as an excuse to come and have a weekend away? Was that?
Oh no, it actually wasn't. I think we will next time. So we Tony and I booked Friday to Sunday with it. We'd get in Friday, chill out. Give the individual crack, but we wanted to kind of try and win the team event until Chocolate Box decided to turn up with Alessia, and the four fish in the water. But we went down with the intention to do well at the team event. So and Toddy went with intention. Toddy and I went with intention to see how well we can go individual, but kind of cruise through. And as I said before, I was lucky enough to go all right. But I think next year we're going to be looking at probably a longer one. I think we're going to look down to get there Thursday. Relax a little bit more and probably go home Monday. And we're actually going to look to take a big cruise, especially from Castle Hill. So I think we've got about 4 or 5 females pretty interested, about 3 or 4 guys going to come down, a few scaled, a few RX. So yeah, we're going to try and make a big, I wouldn't say house party, but big athlete, everyday athlete house.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I know we've got more and more returning groups who are doing that. They get bigger and bigger, and there's more teams, more everything, and it's a weekend away.
Yeah.
And in fact, there was one Epic Fitness, in fact, from Pambula. They booked their accommodation for a week on the Monday after the Bay Games last year.
Oh wow! Yeah, you've actually got to book it pretty quickly, I think.
Which is awesome, but yeah, it certainly seems to make it a lot of fun. And in terms of the programming, actually, so you mentioned you got a few individuals, few scaled, few RX. The programming this year, again, we're just, as you know, working through the testing for individuals at the moment. Yeah. And I said that the programming is looking really great. And we've tried to mix it up a little bit. We've got a floating workout. That should be really interesting because there's a bit of strategy coming in as to when you do that, because you get to choose when you do that. It'll only be short and sharp. And literally to the point where that we'll have what we're going to call, I think we're going to call a big top, for like a second mini arena next to the main arena. And every 5 minutes, there'll be a reset. And within that 5 minutes, there'll be the chance to go again. So we'll just have some judges and a scorekeeper there.
That's cool.
Every hour of the day, after event 1 and before the last event. And yeah, you decide when you go and do it. So you got to look at, well, what are my times for my heats at the other workouts? You'll know what it is by then, of course, and you'll go, right, because it's a max effort. I mean, it's right up your street, let me tell you.
Yeah, I'd enjoy it. I think we did a little combo longer, and they had a little side chain alley workout, and we enjoyed it. But like you said, it's about getting in at the right time, and depending what it is, how well it's going to fit in with post workout of whatever, or of event say 2, and pre-event. Pre-event 3, whether you can sustain that effort for both. So, it's I like that idea.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I'm conscious of your time, when you're, I guess, communicating with your clients about events like the Bay Games or Grand Slam, what tends to be your approach to that? I mean, in terms of encouraging people to get involved, especially now the Grand Slam's pairs, and that you can do teams at the Bay Games, because not everyone's up for competing individually. What's your general approach to that?
I guess the easy thing for us is that Toddy, who works for me, and myself, we've done it. And Dan, who actually works for me now as well. So it makes it a little bit easier. So we can actually go in with the approach to say, look, we did this amazing event. It's a good weekend away, as you mentioned. Jarvis Bay is probably, there's probably only a handful of spots in the world that can rival that area. So, so we kind of go in with the attitude that we've done it before. We can tell them what they're in for. On the flip side, if they get a little bit scared, like there's a scout event, and then allows for everyone to go in. So we've kind of preached it to quite a few people that we kind of feel that would be up to it, and maybe up to RX or or mentally up to doing scaled, and then we just kind of just poke and probe the other ones that we know
Sure.
that would really get something out of it. I guess a lot of people are kind of scared at the start, but they'll come away with a lot of confidence for it. So we just chat to them in class, and just quietly individually at the moment, until I guess probably you guys start to ramp it up a little bit more, and then especially the Grand Slam, so they can kind of see what they're in for. And then we can start to go, all right, guys, we're going to put a team in. How many want to go? And then we can start gathering interest. But I think some of my clients have no choice, which is fantastic. and the other ones, we just tell them of how much fun we had.
Yeah, no, awesome. It's one of those save the dates, isn't it? No matter why, just save these dates.
Yeah, exactly. Block it out.
And actually, in terms of the language we're using, certainly for the Grand Slam, we're going to talk about advanced and intermediate athletes.
Yep.
And we'll start introducing that into the Bay Games language, just to save having two different versions.
Yeah, that makes sense.
RX and scaled is a very CrossFit term.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. But as you know, we're not brand specific. We're a functional fitness festival, and we're trying to make it as inclusive as possible. So including the workouts, as you know. So I can tell you now that there will be double unders in the advanced or RX, one of the events, the individuals. But for scaled or what will be intermediate, it won't be double unders. It'll be an alternative to that.
I think that's a good idea, because a lot of, I dare say 80% of F45 clientele would have no idea what RX means. And no idea what scale means. But if you give everyone in the world an advanced intermediate sort of category, they'll be like, okay, well, that's very good and that's not too bad.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what it is, rather than having, what does that mean?
Spot on.
Unfortunately, lesson learned, we've got all of our Bay Games trophies with RX and scaled and inscribed on them. That's right.
Cross it out.
A little bit of duct tape.
Yeah, it fixes everything.
No one will mind.
No, not at all.
No, very good. Dave, we'll sign it off there. If people want to get in touch with you or reach out to you for any tips, tricks or techniques about fitness, health, wellness, how would they do so?
Probably the best avenue, Instagram. So Dave Harvey 17. Just shoot me a message, and I'll try my best to get back with some classy information, I dare say.
And genuinely, I cannot wait to see you have a crack at the live announcement, because you've agreed to it now.
Oh yeah, you got me on tape.
That'll be a lot of fun again, and really appreciate all your involvement and support, and looking forward to having a fun year with you.
Awesome. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Cheers, mate.
Well, there you have it. Thanks very much for listening. And if you've enjoyed this, please go ahead, hit the subscribe button down below and the little bell icon so you get notified every time we upload a new episode. And if you think that one of your training buddies would also enjoy this, go ahead and share it with them right now. With that said, thank you once again. And as always, be brave, have fun, and lead by example.